Nestled in the cold waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz Island is known for its eerie, haunted reputation. Once home to one of the most notorious prisons in American history, Alcatraz has become synonymous with tales of misery, isolation, and most notably ghosts. With its abandoned prison cells, dark corridors, and infamous history, it is no surprise that Alcatraz has become a focal point for paranormal enthusiasts. The question remains, do the spirits of former inmates and guards still roam the island, or are these just the products of urban legends and overactive imaginations? The island's history is rich and dark, serving as a military prison during the Civil War, a federal penitentiary from 1934 to 1963, and now a major tourist attraction. Over the decades, reports of ghost sightings and unexplained phenomena have captivated the public, turning Alcatraz into one of the most famous haunted locations in the world. The ghosts of Alcatraz are said to haunt the very halls where once violent criminals were incarcerated and where they endured years of isolation and suffering. Some believe that the spirits of these former prisoners, many of whom met grisly ends, still linger trapped in a state of restless torment. The history of Alcatraz. Before we explore the paranormal activity surrounding Alcatraz, it is essential to understand the history of the island and why it has earned such a reputation for being haunted. Alcatraz was first used as a military prison in 1859, serving as a detention facility for soldiers and officers during and after the Civil War. However, it was not until 1934 that the island became home to the notorious Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, housing some of the most dangerous criminals in American history. The prison's remote location, surrounded by the icy, turbulent waters of San Francisco Bay, made it a formidable facility for high-risk criminals. The island's isolation prevented escape attempts, as the frigid waters made it nearly impossible to survive a swim to freedom. This, combined with the harsh conditions of the prison, created a volatile atmosphere. Prisoners were subjected to extreme isolation, with some being confined to solitary confinement for weeks, months, or even years. The brutality of the guards and the harsh living conditions contributed to the oppressive, dark energy that surrounds Alcatraz to this day. Over its 29 years of operation as a federal penitentiary, Alcatraz housed some of the most infamous criminals in history, including Al Capone, Robert Stroud, and George "Machine Gun" Kelly. In 1963, the prison was officially closed due to its high operating costs, and it was abandoned, left to decay as nature slowly reclaimed the land. With its eerie reputation, Alcatraz was eventually opened to the public in 1973, and it has since become a popular tourist attraction. But even as tourists flock to the island for its rich history, many report strange encounters and unexplained phenomena, fueling the belief that the island is haunted by the restless spirits of those who once called it home. The ghosts of Alcatraz, apparitions, and hauntings. One of the most common paranormal experiences reported on Alcatraz is the sighting of apparitions. These ghostly figures are said to appear in the dark corners of the prison, often near the solitary confinement cells, which were infamous for their brutal conditions. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures, some of which seem to move in and out of the prison's former hallways. The spirits of former inmates or even guards are believed to manifest in these shadowy forms, roaming the prison that once held them captive. One of the most frequently reported sightings is that of a tall, shadowy figure dressed in old-fashioned clothing. This figure is often seen near the entrance to the prison or within the solitary confinement cells. Many believe this apparition is that of a former inmate, possibly one who met a violent end during their time at Alcatraz. Some witnesses have claimed to have felt an overwhelming sense of sadness or anger when encountering this figure, suggesting that the spirit may still be haunted by the trauma of their time at the prison. Another common sighting is that of a guard who once worked at Alcatraz. Some visitors to the island have reported seeing the figure of a man dressed in a guard's uniform, walking the prison's corridors. This apparition has been seen more frequently near the warden's office and the prison's administrative areas. Some believe that the guard may have died under mysterious or violent circumstances, and now he is trapped in the prison, still performing his duties even in the afterlife. In addition to apparitions, there have been reports of strange sounds and noises throughout the prison. Visitors often hear unexplained footsteps echoing through the halls, as if someone is walking behind them. Some even report hearing the sounds of rattling chains as though an inmate is being dragged through the corridors. These sounds are especially prevalent in the solitary confinement cells, where prisoners spent long periods in complete isolation. Solitary confinement, the heart of the haunting. Solitary confinement at Alcatraz was one of the harshest punishments a prisoner could endure. The cells were small, with no natural light, and prisoners were isolated from the rest of the population. Some prisoners spent weeks, months, and even years in these cells with little to no human contact. The physical and psychological toll of solitary confinement was immense, and it is believed that the spirits of those who suffered in these cells still haunt the prison to this day. Many visitors to Alcatraz have reported feeling a cold, oppressive energy in the solitary confinement section of the prison. Some have felt an overwhelming sense of dread and unease when standing near these cells, as if they are being watched by unseen eyes. Others claim to hear faint whispers or the sounds of scraping noises as if something is moving within the walls. The most famous ghost story associated with Alcatraz's solitary confinement cells involves the spirit of a prisoner who allegedly died in one of these cells. According to some accounts, this prisoner was driven mad by the isolation and eventually passed away in his cell, his mind shattered from the lack of human contact. Visitors have reported seeing his ghost near the cell where he was held, and some have claimed to hear his desperate cries echoing through the corridors. The spirit of Al Capone. One of the most notorious figures ever to be incarcerated at Alcatraz was gangster Al Capone. Known for his violent crimes during the Prohibition era, Capone was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison for tax evasion and was sent to Alcatraz in 1934. Although Capone was never subjected to solitary confinement, he was still confined to the harsh conditions of the prison, where he spent several years. Despite being a famous criminal, Capone's time at Alcatraz was not as violent or dramatic as one might expect. He was reportedly able to obtain special treatment during his time at the prison due to his reputation and wealth. However, his time at Alcatraz was not without its psychological toll. Many accounts suggest that Capone, once a powerful and feared figure, was deeply affected by the isolation and the brutal conditions of the prison. It is believed that his spirit may still linger on the island, perhaps unable to escape the very isolation that contributed to his downfall. Some visitors have claimed to have seen Capone's ghost while touring the prison, particularly near his old cell. Others report hearing strange noises near the areas where Capone was held, including eerie laughter or distant whispers. Though no one can confirm if it is indeed Capone's spirit haunting the island, the legend persists. Alcatraz, a hub for paranormal activity. Over the years, Alcatraz has gained a reputation as one of the most haunted places in America. Paranormal investigators and ghost hunters have flocked to the island to try to capture evidence of the hauntings. Many have reported capturing strange phenomena on their equipment, such as unexplained voices, mysterious cold spots, and shadowy figures. Some believe that the island's dark history, combined with the tragic stories of suffering and death, has created an environment where restless spirits continue to roam. Despite the many reports of paranormal activity, Alcatraz continues to be a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world. While some come to learn about the prison's history and its infamous inhabitants, others come in search of a more supernatural experience. Whether or not the ghosts of Alcatraz truly exist remains a matter of belief. But one thing is certain, the island's dark past will forever be linked to its eerie, ghostly reputation. In the end, the ghosts of Alcatraz remain a haunting reminder of the prison's dark history. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, there's no denying the chilling atmosphere that surrounds the island. For those who dare to visit, Alcatraz will forever be a place of mystery, intrigue, and perhaps a few lingering spirits. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this chilling tale of the ghosts of Alcatraz, don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories from the world of the unknown.